Blessings upon blessings. Come on in. Come on in and do share. Come on in and do share. Come on in and do share. This is for those who will be live and those who will catch the replay. Because I know this is earlier than normal. But that is definitely why I encourage everybody to subscribe, to click the bell for notifications, so that you do not miss a moment where we are live. Come on in and do share. Today we are praying for divine clarity on this day of January 3rd, 2025. We are praying for divine clarity. Come on in and do share. Blessings, Mary. Blessings. I see you over here on YouTube today. Thank you for subscribing and getting your notifications. Blessings, Destiny. Do share. If anyone is over on Facebook where we are live as well, welcome. Every time you enter this space, at least invite another 3 to 5 people, those that you believe want to be engaged with this time of love and prayer. For those who are entering or listening to the replay and you do not know me, I am Apostle Shalonda Treasure, and I am the visionary and the servant leader of Love Walk Outreach Global, where we believe that a closer walking with God, the self, and others begins and is maintained through love. Love is the answer to every question. Anytime I get to thinking and wanting to stay in a place where it's not good for me or not good for others, immediately you go back to that foundation of love and you draw from those principles, from those ideas, from those thoughts, and recenter. It's a daily work, it's a daily practice, and I want to share a little bit about practice today as I talk about divine clarity and then pray. Uh, in order for divine clarity to come, I know we pray for clarity all the time. God, I want to be clear about what's going on in my life, what I need to do, what's happening with me, what's my next step, all these things. And we all want clarity, and clarity is good. It clears everything. It clears the blurriness. It clears the dust. It clears everything so that you can see to the proper answers. Divine clarity, as I'm praying for today, has a lot to do with being able to see through the eyes of the divine, the great I am, the omnipresent one, God, whatever your narrative or whatever your word may be to describe the great allness. But seeing through those eyes, remembering that God is not off in a distant place alone. God is everywhere, so he's in a distant place, but he's also in a very near place, and that near place just so happens to be you and me. Because as the omnipresent one, he can't be absent from any space at any time. He's in everything. He's in the sand we may walk on the beach, the waters, the skies, the cosmos, even beyond things that we have yet to discover yet. But God is also in and within all of us We are not excluded, we are included. And the more you hear this from me, the more I pray that it sinks deep inside of you, because when I talk about divine clarity, I'm talking about seeing from the inside out, because you recognize that God is within. The kingdom of God, the kingdom of heaven, the kingdom of spirit is within us, and God is not absent. God is not absent, ever present, always near. But living this life, living this earthly existence through us as human beings, through the animals, through the insects, through everything that exists, seeing it all through our eyes, the eyes that were created and formed. And so when we talk about divine clarity, what I'm saying to you today is that once you begin to own the fullness of the presence of God in your world, in your life, then your vision, the way you see, how you discern, how you operate amongst others will begin to shift and change. Now, all of a sudden, you're not just looking for clarity for selfish reasons. You're looking for clarity as to how I fit into this greater whole. What are my strengths? What are my abilities? What are you doing through me as me, God, for the greater existence? What are my strengths? What are my abilities? What are my personality traits? Where do I need to mature? Where do I need to grow so that I am a productive member of this society or this existence? Where do I fit? So the divine clarity that I'm praying for today concerning you has a lot to do with everything we've been praying over for the past 11 days now, or 10 days before today. Whereas we're talking about purpose and unity and collective good and collective giving and all the different things that go along with the law of love. And we want to be prepared. But can I say to you that this is not something that you may just be able to pull out of the hat and say, oh, I'm well versed. It's not meant to be that. Life is about maturity. It's about expansion. It's about shifting and growing, maturing. And so, with that being said, there must be something that you practice in order to get yourself from where you are to where you want to be. And when you make the commitment to yourself to grow or to become whole or any of these different things, then what you are saying is that I'm ready now to go into the practice that will lead me to my knowing, that will lead me to understanding myself better, that will lead me to understanding the greater whole. And so the practice, as most of us may have had, is some people have gone to church or got introduced to church over time, and you begin to go to church, but were you in a practice? You begin to go to the mosque, or you begin to go to the synagogue, or you begin to go to wherever you chose to spend your time learning about God, learning about the principles of things, but were you in a practice? And let me go ahead and make myself divinely clear for you. Going to church, going to mass, going to the synagogues, going to the mosque, going to these different places does not mean that you are practicing spirituality. It doesn't mean that you're practicing your religious doctrines and teachings. And it's very important that you understand what I'm saying right now, because this is what leads to the change in your life. When you commit yourself to a practice, for instance, as a coach for women, once we get into a coaching relationship, you have committed yourself to something. And that something should produce practice. Practice of what? Whatever it is that the assignments are given to you to do, right? We don't just hear about it, but we do it, we apply it. And so the practice with Love Walk Outreach Global, anybody who is under the covering of that, there is a practice that goes along with love walking. I'm practicing my love walk, as a matter of fact, because I'm not well versed. I don't know everything about it. I'm learning as I go along, but I'm intentional about that learning. I'm intentional about that growth, because I am the representation, a unique expression of love incarnate in this earth. God is love. And so I am that, you are that, we are that. And so we go through the practice in order to begin to shed old things. Behold, all things will become new as we begin to abandon the old. And so the divine clarity that I'm praying for you today has everything to do with you making the commitment to a practice for your life. And of course, that is up to you. I can't make you. I would not make you because love would not. Love gives you the option to choose. Love allows you to make the decision that you believe is best for you. And so I want you to begin to really consider this as we go into this prayer time. Before we head into any words, I need you to breathe. I need you to really allow your entire being to begin to relax in this moment. Any anxiety and fear, any oppressive thoughts that would say, well, I don't know about this. I don't know whether I can. I don't know whether I will. If you want to be whole, if you want things to change in your life, if you want the old to pass away and the new to come, then you make a commitment to yourself, not to me, not to anybody else. Even if you are a part of Love Walk Outreach Global, the commitment still needs to be to yourself first, because when the commitment is to yourself, then you can give your all if you are assisting in ministry or anything else. And so you, with your businesses, your ideas, things that you want to produce in this earth, what's your foundation first? And are you committed to growing in that? When it comes to coaching, and I mentioned coaching, though I am a coach and I give questions and assignments and all these different things, the groundwork of everything that I choose to do is based in love. So coaching would be learning self-love, healing, renewing my mind, changing the way I talk, doing the different things that go along with new behaviors, instead of feeling like, you know what, I'll be here, I'll do this, I'll do this. It doesn't work when you're only looking at the screen or looking at the paper or looking at the assignment, but you're not applying anything to your life. So in coaching, divine clarity comes through the practice of taking the old things and replacing them with the new things, piling them, actually cleansing yourself of the of the toxic things, and then pouring new things within yourself. It's the same thing with Love Walk, right? The only difference is, as an apostle, it's not my job to make you, to control you, to do any of those things. I speak, you write down what resonates with you, you apply it to your life, and you grow. In coaching, I give a little bit more help, some guidance even when it comes to the questions or the exercises or what we need to apply in this. Hey, try this and try that. It's more personal. But all of it is the same objective for me. That we understand how to love God, which means to love all that is, to leave room for everything that is, because God is not separate from anything, and to love ourselves so that we can love our neighbors as ourselves. As we heal, as we grow, as we forgive, as we abandon old things that cause us to cripple ourselves, in any regard, make us handicapped. Once we choose to abandon those things, then we can move forward. And so divine clarity can begin to come when you make this commitment to yourself and to really, really believe. Everything about this walk is about faith. Faith through love. Wholeness can't come without faith. Wholeness can't come without faith. Why? Because faith knows. Faith is convinced. It's convinced in what you believe. So we got to make yourself very clear. In this hour, some of you are going to come into divine clarity because you are making a commitment to yourself and choosing on purpose to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. On purpose to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. If you do not want If you do not want to be handicapped in your life, then you push past the handicap that you perceive and you see yourself beyond that place. And then you begin to do the activities and do little things, small things here and there to begin to practice, right? To change it. I want to be whole. So you begin to practice the things that will cause wholeness. Like what? Like daily talking to God and saying, you know what, look, I know that she said that the kingdom of God is within me, that your residence is within all of us and within everything. And I want to be able to feel that. And so you begin to sit still, be still, and know that he is God. Some people will say that it is about practicing not doing this and not doing that and not doing this and not doing that. Well, that comes the more you practice wholeness, the more you practice love, the more you practice understanding, empathy, the more you practice accountability for yourself and the things that come along with your life, the more you begin to understand that God is living literally through everything that exists. He's living through me. And so when I show up in this world, I'm not showing up as a happenstance, an accidental thing. No matter what parents may have said over time in their own brokenness, we take away all of those things. We take away all of those things. We put them in a space and we watch them begin to dissolve as we do more practicing. Things don't change when we just sit there and look at it. Things don't change when we just sit there and look at it. We must be proactive. We must practice. I was listening to an audio book by Reverend Beckwith, and he was speaking about this, and he was basically saying that people kind of just want things to happen in a quick manner, in a quick way. But in order for anybody, whether you have, even if you have a natural ability or a natural gift or a natural talent, naturally I'm a prophet. But it doesn't mean that I trust myself to just know certain things from day to day. I sit, I talk to God, I ask for clarity and understanding. What should I say to the people? And I practice asking and waiting for answers. When you have a gift or ability, you can be totally skilled at drawing. I have a son who's excellent as an artist. He's really, really good. And he's been good since he was young. But over time, it has gotten better. His technique has gotten better. He had a natural ability, and then he began to practice other skills to go along with what he already knows. And then eventually you can look at the details in his work and be like, man, you have come a long way. You were always good, but you are even better now because you have practiced your craft. In this space of even living outside of this dark place of depression and overwhelm, I've been diagnosed and everything. So what happens when you have the symptoms? You see the symptoms. And I told the time, I didn't deny the diagnosis is because I saw pretend like it's not happening. Well, I pretend like I'm not having these things. But I no longer wanted to live in that space. So because I didn't want to live in that space, I had to begin to practice other things. And it was tough at first because when you're so used to a certain way of being, and that's all you know, it's what's familiar. And so because it was familiar, it was difficult. But the more you begin to practice what? I had to practice being able to at least sit up. No matter how heavy my body was, I had to start sitting up. And then eventually I had to start stepping off the bed. And eventually I had to start walking. And sometimes it would take me hours to be able to get up. Now I'm able to kind of jump up a little bit at least. And on the days where I feel the heaviest are the days when even if I can't move, I had to put something in my ear to remind myself that I'm no longer in the place where I have to accept anything other than wholeness and happiness and joy. Sometimes it takes a minute. Sometimes I'm literally listening for hours upon hours, and then I just switch tracks and put on another book or put on another song or put on something that is reiterating what I want, not speaking to what I don't. So for me, divine clarity comes because I make an effort to be still and know. It positions me to kind of know how my day is going to go. It positions me so that I can be aware if something's going to come to me that's going to make me feel like, you know what, I'm just going to go back in the room, go back to bed. I'm going to just chill. I'm not going to do nothing. I'm going to stay out of people's way. I have to make decisions. Are you strong enough to be able to do this thing? Yeah, you're strong enough. You got an assignment. Let's get up and go. It takes practice. And daily practice, continual practice, not just once or twice a week. Because when you're only doing it once or twice a week, you're telling yourself exactly what you're expecting to change. If you are desperate enough, and I'm going to use the word desperate because this is what makes sense in this moment, but if you are desperate enough for wholeness, for cleansing, for something new, you will stop at nothing to get it. We've seen people who are desperate to be able to have financial stability, desperate to be able to have relationships. Oh man, we done seen some TV specials and things where people, by any means necessary, I'm gonna jump on your head, I'm gonna flip you out the way, I'm gonna do whatever I need to do to be able to get to what I'm trying to get to. And so if they can do it, and I'm saying they because I'm talking about different things right now for us, but if they can do that, or even if we can do that in business or when it comes to family or when it comes to, we're determined. But when it comes to ourselves, we have less of a determination. We're still praying, still telling God what we want, still asking God to take it all away. I think I made this statement before, even when it came to my health. God was like, no, we don't need no miracles for that. I don't need to just take it away. I need you to learn. I need you to begin to practice certain things, different things. So believe it or not, y'all, I could probably sit with a big, huge bag of snacks, candies, Debbie cakes, chips, everything that I can think of, and I can eat those things in one sitting. And we're talking like the little Ziploc bags full of Fruities or Chewies or any of those things, some hot tamales and some other things. I can sit and eat it all, devour it in one sitting. So when I say now that, oh, I just had a bag of chips and I just had a Snicker, or I just had a blow pop, or I just had this, and I give you 4 things, somebody else from the outside looking in may say, well, don't you got diabetes? Don't you got this and that? And I'm like, yeah, I absolutely do. But I'm going to tell you, to go from eating, and I'll just go ahead and put a number on it, to go from eating $20 to $30 worth of snacks in one sitting to only having 4 things out of all of that, I've made progress. I'm trying to get to the place where it's not even something that I feel like I have to have. But as addictions go, sometimes people can go cold turkey and they not bothered and they know I can't do none of it, because if I do a little bit, I'm going to want to do a lot of it. And for me, I got to wean myself off. I got to go down a little bit because it's not something that I hate. See, sometimes people can walk away from things because they hate it. It's just like totally awful. It can, they thinking about how they can die shooting up or drinking and cirrhosis of the liver can kill them and all that, and smoking cigarettes or whatever. And they see in the news and they have something that's making them want to not. And so I began to do that when I started thinking about hospital trips. And I'm like, God, I don't want to end up in the hospital again. I think I've had 1-2 procedures or surgeries in the past, in the past year. Been in the hospital maybe 3 times. Going to the emergency room. See, I have to now associate that. So when I think about those things, okay, Shalonda, you got to make sure that you have the money to be able to get your insulin so it can help you along until you no longer need something to help. How many of you understand that divine clarity sometimes is you understanding that I cannot do this alone? And I need to be able to put more investment in myself to be able to change my life. but I also need someone to hold me accountable so that I'm able to look to them and they're okay. Well, did you do this? Well, okay, if you didn't do that, let's go ahead and do that first. After you do that, then we'll move on to the next thing, because somebody that cares wants you to win. So in this hour, I'm praying for your divine clarity so that you can make a commitment to yourself and begin this practice of coming into your spiritual place and saying, I refuse to have anything less than a life of peace, than a life of joy, than a life of wholeness. I don't want to walk around feeling some type of way all the time. I don't want to miss memory building and communicating as much as I want to, and being able to have solid friendship relationships and business and all the things that you want in life. You got it in your mind what you desire, but you lack the ability in this moment. Well, not the ability, but you lack the determination, because we got the abilities, but you lack the determination to commit to you. And so in this moment, I am praying for your divine clarity that comes from the space of your determination to practice spirituality, to practice love, to practice empathy, to practice unity, to practice cooperative giving and responsibilities, to practice. I don't want the old anymore. Behold, I want to be able to behold that all things are new, that my life is not the same, that I'm different. I want to see through the clear eyes of the great I am, emanating and literally trying to live fully through and as me for the sake of this greater whole. Then will I hear from heaven and I'll heal the land. When what? When my people begin to change everything about their ways. They begin to detox this hatred in their hearts. They begin to let go and forgive things that need to be forgiven because they know they need to be forgiven. Come on, we begin to change the way that we think and the way that we look and the way that we do things, because life literally is driven by your perceptions. So if all you see is dark, all you see is negative, you have no balanced view. And for some of us, this was confusion when we grew up in the teachings, because you can't straddle the fence, and you can't be cold and hot, you can't be and you literally, life is all of it. And I got to learn how to navigate my way through it until I'm in the place where I am at that happy medium, where I understand that for everything there's a season. Where I understand that God had a purpose for everything that he's ever done, even the things that I don't understand. I'm practicing to get there, because right now, I can flip the switch at any minute. Right now, I can call the shots and say, you know what? I'm done with everything. I'm done with everybody. I can't live this way. See, we have all type of chatter in our minds, but as we practice, you get to a place eventually that we deem fit for other people, but not ourselves. Ooh, child, if I was you, I'll be all right. If I could practice, if I could do that, I'll be all right. You can, but it takes practice to be able to get there, to apply it and to continue to apply it. I just released the January affirmative meditation for the Inspire Affirmations membership group. And when God gave me instructions for this year to come, God said, give them something and teach them to repeat it every single day, every single night. And that's if they want it. If they're ready, they'll do it. You can't make it. Just put it there and allow them to choose. And so when I recorded it, I began to add a little bit more of the skill sets and really causing relaxation, deep relaxation. And not everybody, and if I could say this, not everybody is able to do the same things. It depends on how your thoughts are running. It depends on whether you're willing to be able to give up the racing thoughts and trade them out for something else. And you got to be submissive. You can't be resistant. And so when I think about it, I'm thinking, but God, maybe I should do this part live and I should do this and this and that and the other. And God says, you have already created a space for people to be able to come in where you may or may not make a profit. But when they make a decision, everything else will flow. And they will not have to worry about whether or not their lives can be changed or not, because they will be able to recognize it and notice it. And I said, okay, God, I ain't got no problem with that. I have no problem with making space for people. But what about if they, Shalonda, put it there, and if they're ready, they'll do the work. He's saying the same thing to you right now. I'm putting something there for you to hear. How many of you will really go back and listen to this whole time and really begin to apply what I'm saying to your life? Take notes and begin to make a plan and say, you know what? That's right. Okay, I'm practicing. What am I going to do from day to day? See, I'm a type of person that daily routines, the same thing every day, will totally mess my life up. So I have to find my way of doing it. Therefore, I have different playlists and I have different affirmations and I have different things. Now, there are those that I play at night daily like I'm supposed to, transforming my mind. But there are some things that I just need to do differently, and that's me. But what about you in this practice of yours? So, oh God, today bring divine clarity for these your people, the ones that have decided that I'm determined that my life will never be the same again. I'm not on the outside looking in. I'm a part of this greater whole. And God, I want to be fully present as me in this earth. Help me to love me. Help me to learn to practice loving me. Help me to practice understanding and empathy. Help me to be able to step into a different space. And though it may be uncomfortable for them, oh God, cause there to be a sense of peace surrounding them at all times. Wrap them in your very embrace. God, I pray for even the angels to surround them, that they always feel the presence. They feel the presence directly around them until they're able to recognize the presence on the inside. God, I thank you for their lives. May willingness come. May willingness come. I affirm and even declare that we are willing to be whole today. That we are willing to practice love today. That we are willing and open to step into a new realm. We will no longer be resistant, but we yield. Yeah, Rabasoko. Moko rebaisha taman sikio robokutua. Makaya raman sikio robokutu. Shikataya man soko rebai kataya. Release the tension. Release the tension. Release the pain. Release the emotional connection to our burdens and our traumas and our issues. Release. 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 Oh, rebakataya man sikio robokutu. Shekataya basi. I prophesy to you this night that there will be more of an urgency stirring up on the inside of you. to practice, to make a determination that it is in spirit and truth that I want to live. And it is in you, oh God, that I live, I move, and have my being. So I will practice. I am willing to be whole, so I'll practice. I'm willing to be love in this earth, so I'll practice. I'm willing to be healed, so I'll practice. There's an urgency. And when you feel this urgency, either you will yield or you will walk away. You have the choice to do either. But what say you? My faith is present as you stand to be strengthened in your own faith. As you rest tonight, when you put yourself in a place of meditation and prayer and surrender, you will receive divine clarity for next move, next steps. You will not overthink. You will move in alignment and in sync with that which your heart desires, fully desires. If it's wholeness and healing you want, that's your desire. You will know the plan. You will understand. Even if that plan means that you need to tag in somebody else to assist you in this season, but the work must be done by you. Divine clarity as to next steps and next moves. Surrender worry. Surrender stress. When you yield to that urgency, surrender anything that will prohibit you from moving forward tonight. And over this next 8 days, make sure you have something next to you that you can write immediately, because as you surrender, divine clarity will come. It is so, and so it is. Father, I lift up to you now every partner of Love Walk Outreach Global. I pray now for their divine manifestation season to begin even now. Help it to make sense for them. Clear the smoke and mirrors. Cause them to be more excited now about giving than they ever have. Understanding what the principles mean. I thank you for my renewed excitement about pouring without reserve. Thank you for these instructions to pray these 100 days. Thank you for the stir. Thank you for reminding me that this is who I am and this is my purpose. And thank you for giving me the heart to want to move forward. We thank you for this time and this space today. I pray sweet rest over each and every one of you. It is so, and so it is. Amen. And hallelujah.